Hi, everyone. Give me a moment. We're going to get started. So sorry about starting late. I'm trying to get this shareable link. So give me 1 second. Give me about 2 minutes. Let's start let's plan our time to start exactly at like 12:07, 12:08. Give me a moment. Anyway, happy to have you all here. What is this today? Today is the 8th. The 8th is a good day. Arella, I'm just going to talk to you backstage for a second so you can get the link up. Maybe you can share it on your end for me, and that way I can have people see the link, which would be good. Arella, you can hear me, right? All right, guys, welcome. Thanks for joining. Let me move this chat a little bit over to the left so you can actually see it. Arella, I'm just going to ask you to scroll down for me because I won't be able to, since I'm not in control of this. Thanks for your patience, guys. All right, so today the focus is going to be turning your expertise into a platform that people can actually subscribe to. And I see there are a few people that are in already. Thanks for joining again. And if you can just mention where you're streaming in from. I'm here in Queens, New York. It's a beautiful, wonderful day. And I'm really excited about what I have to share with you. For those of you who have been following me for a while and have been on different Zoom calls with me for different things along the way, one thing that has come up a lot is a question of me starting a community. And I've never wanted to start a community because I know, I'm not going to do anything unless I'm ready to do the commitment that it requires. And a community is a huge commitment. And also for me, it was about finding that thing that I think could work for the majority of people that actually follow me. So there were a number of different pieces for me to try to figure out, well, what makes the most sense. One, I wanted to know what was really the demographic and the the behavioral characteristics and attributes of the people that are following me, right? And I didn't have a good sense of that, right? Because I wanted to appeal to the majority of you guys. And then I wanted to do something that I figured this could really help people to actually make money, right? Some things work better for others. This is it, right? So this is my first time doing a community. And What that means is that I'm all in. And this is all about turning your expertise into a platform that people subscribe to. So I've been in business for a long time, had many different entrepreneurial ventures. When you hear me talk about AI, I talk about different platforms and tools, or you may hear me talk about my role as a professor. But what you probably haven't heard me talk about is the idea that I've always considered myself an entrepreneur. Like I've tried like every entrepreneurial thing I think you can think of. I probably dabbled in some piece of it because I love getting my message out there and I love being able to do something that I can call my own, right? And I love my job, granted, as an educator, but I think we all want more than that, right? We want to be able to focus on our own expertise, our area, particularly when we find that thing that we're passionate about and we want to share it out with a larger community. And so this is an opportunity for you all to do that. And it's my firm belief that every single person has something that they're really good at. They have something that people call them for, and they're like, and people get really excited because they're the one that can give the information on this particular topic. And so turning your thank you, Arella, your platform into something that people can subscribe to. Arella, I thought that was really cool how you just shifted it up for me because you're probably like, you know how I can kind of labor on a point. You're like, all right, let's keep moving. Anyway, all right. So I'm a professor, an AI strategist. I'm a Columbia grad, a UPenn grad. And I don't say that to kind of tout my credentials, but to tell you that for me, things have been a journey. I've done a lot of different things, as many of you guys have done a lot of different things. As you get older, you gain expertise just by the benefit of living long enough to have different kinds of experiences. You just gain skills and you've had a lot of different journeys. I like to say that I've lived multiple lives because I've gone down different paths. But what in terms of AI and the things that gets me really excited about is I've been able to build multiple AI powered learning platforms. So if you're familiar with the CHES exam, I built a CHES certification platform. I built a platform for my company, Early Scholars, and that is a speech and debate program where the platform itself is licensed by schools and educational programs nationwide. I am the founder of Chatify It, and if you are a subscriber, Chatify It, welcome again. And I'm glad that you're part of that community. And now it's an opportunity for you to join another community. Well, that one's not really a community, it's a subscription platform, but this one is a community. So my mission is to help experts build real businesses with AI. And the way that I'm going to help them, Arella, can you scroll up just a little bit? I don't know, this thing is blocking, is focusing on the value. So AI changed the value of what you already know. AI has fundamentally changed the value of expertise. You already have the hard part, you have the knowledge because you have the years experience, and AI lets you package it, scale it, and monetize what you already know. And subscription businesses turn that into reoccurring revenue. And that's the whole idea. The idea is that you don't want to have to worry from month to month how much money you're going to be bringing in. You want to know at minimum, you're going to have a certain amount of money that comes in. And a subscription business, it takes time, obviously, to get the number of subscribers that you want to have, depending on what your financial and monetary goals are. But getting the platform up and running is something that you can get up and running in a short period of time. And what I do in the community is I show people how to get your subscription platform up and running in 30 days. And you may have watched a lot of different AI videos and tutorials, and someone will be like, go to Lovable. And even I will have videos where you can go to Lovable and you can have it started in, put it together, and you can put it together in a day. Or you can go to Bolt, or you can go to Replit. And there's all these platforms, Google Studio, right? All these platforms where you can put your prompt in and it'll really put something together for you in a really short period of time. And at the end of it, you're like, whoa, I was able to do this in a short period of time. But can I tell you, it's great for a demo if you want to show people what you've built, but it's not functional yet. Right? There's a whole piece to getting it functional and making sure that you can actually have subscribers on it and the platform isn't going to break and you're able to funnel people into it and keep it running. So that's what we talk about. Not the thing that you can patch together as a demo to show someone in a day, but it's a 30-day process. And I'm going to take you through my AI platform blueprint and what that 30 days looks like. So although I say that by age, you gain expertise and we're experts, but most experts never launch, right? So they start with technology instead of their expertise, right? Because they are consuming instead of implementing. There are too many tools, too many videos, and there's no roadmap. And I know it's hard because if you're seeing all these possible angles you can go into, it's hard to figure out, well, which one do I settle on? And I have a quote that I have on the wall, and I love that quote. And it's a quote by, I'm just going to read it. It's a quote by Steve Jobs. And I keep it up here. So it's a reminder to myself. And its focus is saying no to a phenomenally good idea because you're focused on something else, right? I have two things up here. I have that, and you guys can't see it. But I have another one that says, no one can compete with you on being you. I love those. Okay. One is when there's a lot of different opportunities, it's hard to figure out what thing to focus on. And so, and the minute you divert your attention, you lose money. I mean, I can't tell you countless times I've lost money where something was moving and then I saw some other shiny gold object and I went down that direction, or I tried to diversify myself. I was like, okay, I can handle 2 or 3 things at one time. And whenever I did that, when it never failed, I lost money. And so one, it's like you got to focus and you pick one thing, you focus on it and you go all in on that one thing. So then the question is like, well, what do I focus on? And that's where the next quote comes in is no one can compete with you on being you. You know what the heck you're good at. And if you don't know, we're going to freaking figure it out together, right? But there are things that make you uniquely, naturally you that come fairly effortless for you. And you may not be an expert in that area yet, but you definitely have a proclivity there. People come to you for it. And now it is a time where you can gain expertise so quickly. So I say that the kids that I have young, I don't know if I would say they're young children anymore. I have teenagers. My son is going off to college. And my daughter is still in high school. So I have teenagers. They're not so young anymore. But I say, I don't know if I'm happy for the generation that's born into AI or I feel sad for them. From the happy perspective is if you are born into this right now and you are lucky enough to find the thing that you love, you can accelerate your knowledge at such an exponential speed. Like the resources, let's say you were into being a cinematographer. In our day, at least in my day, if you didn't have someone in that space, you're not going to really get much leverage. But now I can go into AI and I can get my questions answered and I can fast pace my own development because it'll teach me, it'll tutor me along the way. So if there's something that you go, this is a thing that I've been wanting to do, and I already have some level of penchant in it, people are asking me questions, then you can take on that as your challenge and just gain more expertise. You just need to be teaching people that are behind you, right? That you need to be a few years ahead of the people that you're teaching so you can be of value to them. So again, too many tools, getting stuck and quitting. And the biggest question I hear isn't, can I build it? I scroll up a little bit, Arella. It's, I don't know what I would build. Okay. So that's a question I hear all the time. And I think that's a really good question. That's something that you do want to spend some time thinking about, but you don't want to, I talk about this idea of, it's a known concept, the idea of an MVP, a minimal viable product. You build something small and then you build it out, and you build it out with your customer base based on what you see that they want. So platforms that you subscribe to, what you'll see, you'll get emails from them all the time with new feature rollouts. Those new feature rollouts aren't stuff they just freaking imagine in their head most of the time. Those new feature rollouts are based on feedback they're getting from their community. And they're like, the community's like, oh, I want this. They add the feature rollout. They want this. They add the feature rollout. So they build up, right? And their initial idea can change drastically to something very different. So again, I understand that I don't know what I'd build. And for that, I say you start with your expertise, but you can also ask yourself, what do people already come to you for, which is what I've said. What have you spent years learning? Because you want to be able to pull back in your toolkit and be like, hey guys, here's my experience in here. This is the stuff I've been learning. This is the accomplishments that I have from it. No one's going to follow and want advice from you if you can't even show them that you've either been able to do it for yourself or you've done it for other people, right? Like you got to be able to say, hey, this stuff works. I've done it to some extent. And what problem have you solved for yourself? Again, that's the same thing. And what could you teach? I put every Saturday for the next year, but it's about like, what could you teach to other people? And you could do that on a consistent basis and that you would actually enjoy doing. All right. And here are some examples here. Teacher, AI powered lesson library and classroom resources. Possibly that's the platform that they build. A nurse, an NCLEX, which is the exam that nurses take, an NCLEX exam prep, and a patient education portal. An accountant, information for tax planning. Scroll down a little bit more, Arella, a health educator, certification prep and continuing education. So there's different examples. So the business is already hidden inside your own expertise. So how do we make that happen? And there's a whole process that I go through and kind of trying to like excavate what it is that you should be doing, right? But you don't want to spend too much time there. You want to build your first thing, even if it's not the perfect thing. You want to build, you want to make sure you learn how to build, and you may then iterate. You're not may. It's like 100% likely that you'll iterate as you move forward. But clarity doesn't come from like, let me sit around and think about what should I do? What should I do? Like we tend to think that clarity comes from just thinking about it. Clarity only comes from taking action. As you take action, things begin to evolve and things start to make sense. And so I am all about, if you don't know what decision to make, give yourself an hour and make a freaking decision. Just make a decision, go for it, because the consequence or the outcome of what happens teaches you much faster than sitting around for 2 weeks and figuring it out. Right. So the AI platform blueprint that I go to is, it's a 4-step blueprint. We set up, we build, we launch, and we grow. Super freaking exciting. Right. So I'm going to go through what each phase of that looks like. So the setup phase is we set up your AI infrastructure. If you have this infrastructure already set up, you're great. But this is the infrastructure that I find is very, very good. It's easy to follow. So we're going to set up your VS Code on your computer. Yeah. So that's your AI workspace. You're going to make sure you have Claude Code as an extension in VS Code, not the desktop version, not the browser version, but as an extension in VS Code. So as your AI developer, your AI assistant, we're going to make sure that the code that we write, that it's on GitHub. So GitHub stores your code and version history. And from that, we're going to be using the GitHub desktop connection as well. So everything syncs to each other, right? We will use the backend database, Superbase. And Superbase is going to help you to store information. It's going to have your logins, your authentication, your user accounts. All that information will be on Superbase, and we'll be using Vercel to host your platform. Now, I like the stack for a few reasons. One, most of it is free. VS Code is free. Claude Code, you do have to pay a subscription for. The minimum you should get, well, the lowest version is $20. That's the one. And if you have others, you can connect them as well. But I focus on Claude Code because I think it's the fastest way to get you from whatever creative idea you have in your mind to something that's actually built. Codex by ChatGPT is also really good, but for our community, we'll focus on Claude Code. GitHub is free, Superbase is free, and Vercel is free. I mean, so Superbase, I think if you have more than, I pay for my Superbase because you only get 2 free accounts or 2 free platforms within the Superbase, but the point of the matter is it is such a cheap and inefficient way to get your stuff going. And that is the first week of the launch. So why I say this happens in 30 days is because it happens in 30 days. Week one, this is what you see. In the community, you have videos for each one, but it is not the video kind of community. You're watching the video. And what I do is, I think it's really cool. I thought about this. It's like, I do my best to keep the videos at 10 minutes because I'm like, I want people to be able to do it during a lunch break. I want no excuse. I don't want you to say, I got to go watch a 90-minute video and then implement the 90-minute video. It's like, I just do little chunk sizes of each thing. And then I'm in the community every day with you, speaking, either answering your questions either through text or video. So if it's something that requires a video demonstration, you get the video. And we'll have weekly live calls, right? And those weekly live calls are recorded if you can't be on them. But what I find, right, I find it's much better in answering, and this is from, again, as you get older, you get years of experience and stuff. And although I've never done a community for AI, I've been in different types of communities, and I've facilitated different things. And I find it's better than, I find if you have a live call like multiple times a week, you don't have that many people that attend because people can't coordinate, right? Everyone's not going to coordinate to attend all these live calls. But if someone has a specific question about, I can't figure out how to get the extensions working on VS Code or something, and you send them a quick video that's like a minute or 2 minutes long, and it answers their specific question, it's so much more beneficial to people to get that right there live. And then because it's a community setting, someone else that may have had that question or something that day also gets to see that response, right? So I find that is much more effective so everyone feels as if they're being tailored to. And that's where momentum happens, right? You want to feel like you're getting the support that you need easily. All right, so that first week is your setup week. Arella, if you can scroll up a little bit more. Things. And then it's your build. So your build is, so we research successful platforms in your niche. We are not freaking trying to reinvent the wheel here, okay? There are there are platforms out there that have already gained success in the area that you're in, or the area that you're looking to gain success in. And you are going to research who they are. You're going to find out where your communities hang out, and you're going to get the information that you need, right? And that is also part of being able to validate that this is something that the market values. And interestingly enough, I talk about researching successful platforms in your niche, but prior to even that first week, there's an activity where you should do your competitor analysis and validate what's out there so you can figure out what is going on in this space. Is it something that people will actually pay for? How do you know it's something that people will pay for? If they paid other platforms for that thing, you know that people are willing to put their money in for this. And so there's different philosophies running around. And some people believe that, oh, well, if it already exists, then what would be the value of me creating it? I think that is like such a flawed way of looking at things. If it already exists, that means there's money to be made here. And that means that people find it valuable. There's 8 billion plus people in the world. I wouldn't worry about that. And if there are platforms that exist that you want to emulate, you are going to model after the ones who are successful. You have a blueprint to start with. And then you have AI that can help you in that examination piece. So that's my spiel with that. You want to organize your expertise into lessons. You want to build it with Claude Code. You want to test and refine your platform, and you want to create an experience people want to actually subscribe to. So that's what we do during the build phase. The build phase is a lot of kind of research, identifying what's happening, how much are people charging for their platform, what do the platforms look like, going through comments and seeing what are some people saying in terms of what's missing, what they would like, what they wish this platform included. So you can find your own kind of angle within that space. So it's really what are the elements that I want to build in this platform? And again, you're not just doing it off the top of your head. And that's why I freaking love AI. You're like, go find that stuff for me. Show me who is already doing this in the space. And then you can examine the characteristics. The next week, so that's week 2 is build. Week 3, and this is again, if you're following it like sequential, well, you have to follow it sequentially. But assuming that you are on it like every day, take your little 30-minute break for lunch or wherever it is, and you actually go and say, let me tackle this, let me tackle this, let me tackle this. And any questions I have, I throw it right into the community chat so that I can get answers for it that day. Launch. Rel, if you can scroll up a little bit for the launch. And thanks. So launch, this part, this just came from kinds of questions that I get. And I realized, so you might be able to go and create a platform really quickly. Maybe you can do it, that one that continues to work and it doesn't break down. And that's based on some background knowledge of different companies and what they're already doing. But then there's some really kind of, I call this like the business in a box. There's some other pieces that you need to get a business running that you may not have in place. And I don't give legal advice, and I make that very clear, but I tell you what I did, and then you can decide whether you want to follow what I did. And that's what I preface things with. It's like, and I give that little caveat, well, I don't give legal advice, but I tell you where you can go get your domain. I'll tell you where I got my domains from, right? You get yourself a domain, you pay like $12 or $13. You want to get Stripe, you want to get a merchant account with Stripe, right? So you can accept reoccurring payments. And sometimes this, I actually talk about, I preface this on week 2 so people can start their business if they haven't already. And sometimes people, when you think of, oh, I need to go create a business, people vacillate between, should I do an INC? Should I do an LLC? I'm like, I mean, yeah, is that something that's really important? I'll tell you what I did when I first started one of my very first businesses years ago. I just created a DBA. I did it in a day. I went down and got a DBA, got the EIN number so I can get my merchant account, got a business account, boom. And then later on, that then became an LLC. Well, actually became an S Corp. And then I also have an LLC. But the point of the matter is, like, sitting around and trying to figure out the best path, it's just weeks and weeks of inaction, and sometimes you don't go back. So while you have the momentum and the desire to do it, let's just get it going. So I give you the options of how you can have it done in a day, how you can have it done in a week or 2, depending on what state you're in. LLCs for New York are horrendous in terms of the time frame. But you get your Stripe set up, and that Stripe gets configured on the back end. So I show you also how to do the configuration on the Stripe so it's connected, and Claude Code can help you with all your integrations, because everything gets integrated. So your Claude Code, your VS Code, your GitHub, your Superbase, your Vercel, your Stripe, everything gets connected. You're not going at individual accounts and making modifications. You'll go during the infrastructure setup stage, but then after that, you're just orchestrating Claude Code to make changes for you. Okay. Systeme.io is the platform that I use for funnels. And we talk about funnels. So that's also part of the launch period, because the funnel piece, it is an extremely important piece. If you're creating content, possibly, maybe you're on LinkedIn and you're posting, or you're on Twitter, or whatever it is that you maybe you're doing something to reach out to people, you need to have a funnel, right? You need to have a way that you can reach out to people outside of the platform that they may have found you on, or the way they've contacted you. So how I started with my own Systeme.io account, I literally went through my whole email, all my emails. Forget about, I wasn't even creating any content. I went through all my emails and I downloaded, I did the bulk export of the CSV file and entered everyone in Systeme.io. Everyone was getting my emails. Like, I don't know if I met you 10 years ago, you were getting my emails. You had to freaking unsubscribe from my email. And I didn't like separate it out from who are the people versus who are the businesses. Everybody got the emails. And that's how you start, right? You start somewhere and you get an email system going. And we all have tons of email addresses. So I teach you all about the funnel and the importance of funnel, and how to create your opt-in, your landing pages. And I help you connect your Systeme.io domain account to your domain. Okay. So that when you send out emails and your domain is treasure trove. It's like, it's coming from info@treasuretrove.com. You know why I came up with that name, but so everything is already set up and you understand this System IO or the funnel. I find it always trips people up because they're doing it by themselves and they don't really understand, like, especially if you've never been on one of those kinds of platforms, they don't understand how to navigate them. And if you have, then you're probably good in that realm because the information architecture is the same. So I'm talking about like the naming convention. So a campaign is always a campaign. An opt-in is always a opt-in. A trigger and action, they all mean the same thing, but on different platforms, you will have to try to find where those buttons are. But let's say you've never been on any of that. None of that means, like, it means nothing to you. What is a trigger? What is a campaign? What is an opt-in? Like, it means nothing to you. And it can be really stressful and an arduous period to get that up and running, but it's super important to get that up and running. Many of you wouldn't be on this call today right now if you didn't get my email. So I had your email so I could be able to send it out. So we go through that. We go through lead magnet. We go through launch strategy, and then Arella, if you can scroll up some more, we can. And that's so launch is third week, fourth week. We focus on your grow, and it follows that sequence. The different access points get open to you as you complete them, right? So you finish the launch, then you finish the setup, then the build opens up. You finish the build, then the launch opens up. You finish, because I don't want a situation where you go in and you see all the videos and you like, what is that? Information paralysis, where you maybe try to like watch everything and then you do nothing. No, you're gonna do it step by step. You're gonna ask the questions as time goes on, step by step when you run into difficulty, and then you're gonna get it up and running. So improve your improve your platform over time, add new lessons and features, listen to member feedback. And so you're going to be launching out new features. You're going to be modifying things. You're going to be changing what things look like, and so on and so forth. Arella, if you can scroll up some more too. So where can you actually do it? So everything I just showed you is exactly what we do together inside the community. It's the Leveraging AI community. So you get the AI platform blueprint, which is that whole setup, direct access to me, community accountability, platform templates, that whole AI infrastructure. And this is stuff, by the way, I've been looking at a lot of job applications recently. And I'm just trying to look at to see. For me, I'm a researcher, so I love to analyze like what's happening in terms of the economy and how things are changing and shifting with AI. And so many applications are like asking people for their GitHub link, and I'm like, it makes so much sense because they want to see that people are actually building, right? So just in terms of making yourself a force in the market, you want to learn how to build on these systems. You want to get that. You want to get those practice hours in. You want to get really good at it because it's just like a necessary skill at this point. So daily implementation videos, personalized video and text support. And so all the stuff, the prompt library, everything I talked about. So Arella, if you can scroll up a little bit more. And so here it is. You want to get in first. You want to lock it in. You want to lock in the price that it is right now. And Arella, are you able to actually just put the link, if you can, please, in this of the school? Let me put of the school community, and I'll give you guys the link. So this community is run on Skool, SKOOL, and the price that you have now, it is literally $28 a month, right? I suggest that you join for the year. You get a discount if you join for the year, and then you have people to run this sprint with, right? So yes, 30 days. If you follow the program and you do it daily, pretty much, right? They're not like 7 days of videos for each launch. They're like maybe like 5, right? But if you follow the steps in 30 days, you can have it up and running, but then you still want to communicate. You want to grow. You want to add more features. You want to be in a group of like-minded people who are running a similar kind of race. And as you have questions, you don't want to sit on those questions because it's the questions that people sit on that leads to inaction and then nothing happens, right? And you don't want to have a platform that you build and then you just walk away from. Like, that's crazy. right? You want to like put some engine behind not engine. You want to put some gas behind it. All right. So I think Arella just put that link for you guys in the chat. And this is a moment for questions and answers. So I'm going to take this moment. The community to join is $28. That is the founding members price. It will not stay at that price. At any moment, that price is going to change. So you already have their expertise. My job is to help you turn it into an AI-powered learning platform that people actually subscribe to. So I am going to stay on this Q&A now for questions and to answer the questions that you guys have. All right, I see one person, I'm going to just show this on screen, says, I have Vercel, Superbase, GitHub, and Claude 2. I'm ready. Okay, I love that. It's wonderful that you have that ready. And if you can also share the school community, Arella, that would be great. Let's go. I love the let's go. My son says that all the time. He says it with this like in his voice. I love it. So I see people saying they have VS Code downloaded. Super cool. Arella, if you see any questions that came through that I didn't notice, please let me know what those are. So where's the link to join? Hey, Arella, I can't hear you. Can you turn your audio on? Do you have the link for people to join? Let me go. I can go try to grab it too.
Yes, it should be in the chat. If you're on YouTube, you should just see one of my comments.
Okay. You're on YouTube. Let me just also try to grab it from and see if I can enter it as well. Can you also share the school community so that they can see what that looks like? All right. So I also just put it in the chat. Are you guys able to see what I just put in the chat? I just put it there as well. All right. I'm like super, 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 super excited about this. All right. So it's saying, let's see. Again, if you had a question earlier and I didn't see it, let me know. All right. So we have Rick Party, you're in. Cool. Super excited. Yeah. You know, I have a hard time holding back information. I will say, though, Rick Party, I do have a hard time holding back information. I think I would have sent an email about that. So my anniversary was this week, and I mentioned how you guys may have seen that email. But one of the things that when I was kind of looking for a marriage partner was I wanted to find someone who was just as giving as I was. And I had said, you know, God, this is the thing that I want. I want to find someone who's really giving. And the reason was that I always felt like whatever I had, I was going to give. And I tried to change it so many times, but it just didn't work. So I was just like, you know what? My best bet is to just find someone who's like me and life will work out. And it has. So So anyway, so I'm going to put Black Box Films. Do we need to create a brain of our business folder for Claude in the 30-day build? I mean, you want to create, you want to update the memory all the time. I wouldn't worry about that. because you don't really know what you're building yet. You think you know what you're building. You have an idea of what the initial piece of it is, but after that. So, and I just want to also make sure that I'm understanding the question. When you are creating different files and you're setting up your infrastructure, you'll have those file folders either on your desktop, your downloads, or your documents on your computer. And that's the information that VS Code is going to pull from. That's the information that Claude Code will pull from. So as you make changes and you update, you make sure that you update those files. And you literally just tell Claude Code, go in and update this particular file. So then that becomes your folder structure. And when you leave the next day and you come back to it again, you just open VS Code and you pull out, you make sure it's viewing that particular folder structure and it has the information, right? So you're not repeating yourself every single time you jump back onto Claude Code. Your folder structure with your files and your memory are all there. So the question is, what stage of development would you suggest one be in to take advantage of this? You should be in the place where you have an idea of the things that you're good at, right? Like that I can't help you with. I can't help you with like what you think you're good at. I'm literally starting from ground zero with people. So I'm starting with, I have an idea, have a few things that have been floating in my mind, but I'm not necessarily sure what direction to take. And that's where let's do the competitor analysis. Let's see what's out there. And then let's freaking settle on something. We're not going to sit for freaking days trying to figure it out. We're going to settle on something and we're going to build. And at the end of 30 days, you build something, you're like, I really didn't want to do this direction. I wanted another one. You've just learned how to build your own platform and you have everything set up. Replicate it. Do it again with something else. But my suggestion is not that you do that. My suggestion is that you just build light so that you can modify. You need to at least be in the right space, in the right realm. So for instance, you shouldn't be doing sewing if you don't know how to sew. So need to learn how to do research. And that is something that AI can so support with the tools and the prompts that I have. It makes it so much easier. Okay, someone else who says, I have all these platforms. That's great. If you have these platforms, this is good. Now you just want to make sure that you have them connected. So I know many people who have all the platforms, right? And then I'll speak to them and I find out that they're actually going into the individual platform. So for instance, like they're going into Vercel and they're adding their environment variables from Supabase. Or they're going into Supabase and they're putting the SQL codes in, they're copying and pasting them themselves. I'm like, no, never. Like we won't do that. Everything needs to be integrated. So when you tell freaking Claude Code to do it, it adds it to the freaking platform for you because you've already connected everything, right? So the infrastructure, again, takes a week to build out to make sure that all the connections are there, but you do one at a day. You do one at a time, one day at a time, and get everything connected. You're not going into you're not like getting the code from Claude Code and then copying it into GitHub. No. You're getting into Claude, you're typing into Claude Code extension through VS Code, and you say commit it to GitHub, and it pushes it out for you. You don't separately go into GitHub, or you don't separately go into Supabase or whichever platform. That just kills momentum and speed and just drains you the heck out. And the other thing that I find is always very amazing is working alongside a group. So there was an interesting study that was done and they looked at roaches, and this is like kind of disgusting, but they timed how fast it took roaches to complete a maze. And so they did different groups. They had some where they had one roach like simultaneously by themselves run the maze, and then they time it. And then they would have these other scenarios where they would have roaches on the perimeter of the maze, and then they would time to see how long it took the roach to complete the maze. And of course, when they had roaches on the perimeter, they completed the maze much faster because they had their friends cheering them on. And so even roaches need community support. And that's what we're going to be doing in the group. We're going to have community support, and we're going to try to make every day joyous. Sometimes some days are going to feel more frustrating than others. I mean, that's the game of entrepreneurship, and that's the game of business. And if you're doing it alone, it feels, I think, even worse, because you are having everything float around in your own brain and there's no one else to bounce any ideas off of, which is super stressful. But I won't, lie to you. The entrepreneurship game, regardless, is stressful. But going to a job 9 to 5 and working for someone else and getting a fraction of your worth is freaking stressful. Coming out at the end and being at the end of retirement and me making less money than you were during the years that you were working, and you don't have much to show for that, that's freaking stressful. I had read a stat some time ago, and I didn't realize that there are many people after retirement that actually go into a poverty level. And I'm like, that's insane, right? So you've built all this time and you've gained all these skills and you gain this expertise, and you're not valuable in the workforce anymore, but you haven't turned that expertise into something that you can take directly to the market and make money with. So that's a no. All right. I don't know that there's any more questions coming in. I think, well, let me just see. No, I like questions. Freaking love questions. We keep the questions coming in. And I know everyone's questions is not necessarily showing up on the, well, actually, let me make sure I have all the questions showing up. But it says, so the question is, would this be applicable to building a community membership around leveraging AI in government and corporate contracts, as well as governance, risk, and compliance for regulated industries? I mean, anything is. And I hear government and corporate contracts. I know a lot of people are looking for how do I get one, where do I find government contracts? How do I apply to them successfully? If you have experience in successfully filling out government applications and actually getting government contracts, that's a freaking big deal, right? So that is part of the research piece, identifying what in that space is actually working for people, what kind of platforms already exist, and what are people paying for. And then from there, seeing what part of those different pathways do you actually have experience and expertise in, and what route you can go down. So that's the research piece of things. So the next question I'm hearing is, will marketing be a component? Yeah, that's going to be part of the grow component. Well, part of the launch and the grow component. So the launch is about your systems, your emails, your funnels, and getting that whole infrastructure back end set up. There's no way you're going to leave this community and not know and not be like really, really good at that whole back end and having that already set up. And then we'll talk more about different forms of marketing. All right, so I'm going to put the link again, and I will, hold on, let me put the link again. And it doesn't seem like there's any other questions coming in. So grab the link because I'm going to jump off. I will see you guys online in your emails as I'm sending emails out to you. This was a wonderful call. Glad to have you guys in the community. Hope to have you guys building amazing subscription platforms. All right, bye for now.